These are some godforsaken stats, literally broadcasting its location to the entire server. They could barely be called living things. That was smooth. Look at that, like the head movements is crazy. Like, how are they even viable as a species? It's imagine the pain, bro. The pain must be crazy, but I don't think these things can even feel pain. They're just so dumb. This is what they look like, literally. Like every single animal I've seen so far on this video about the scorpions have been moving differently. I swear, if you just hung up your jersey 50,000 years ago, God.
Scorpions are one of the most intimidating builds in the game. They're also one of the oldest, and have been in the game since before the devs even added the terrestrial server DLC. Their combination—
Wait, they were here in this world before animals could walk on Earth? At least that's what I'm getting from this. Otherwise, no way, bro. That is crazy. They can actually survive underwater. Oh my god, this is I did not know they were that old. These things are more ancient than flipping dinosaurs.
Powerful claws and deadly stinger create an imposing threat to anyone looking to challenge them in combat.
They do look
but has their ancient strategy held up in the face of the immense power creep the game has seen? Let's take a
I don't know about the power creep. I'm pretty sure dinosaurs are pretty powerful back in the days, and a lot larger things existed, and I think they're pretty powerful, pretty strong, pretty overpowered compared to the things that's living right now. Even though I believe our strategies in the current meta, it's solid and it's balanced.
Closer look at the stats and abilities Scorpions employ, and ultimately decide where they fall on the tier list. This video was made in partnership with CuriosityStream.
What tier list do I think scorpions belong to? I don't know much about scorpions. I know they're venomous. At least I think so. I'm not too sure about that. But I'm pretty sure they're venomous. They're kind of angry and they have poison and they look intimidating. That's all I know about scorpions. So I believe they would be at A tier. The question is, are scorpions OP? So they must be like above B tier at least to be considered OP. Perhaps even S tier, but I don't think scorpions are S tier, bro. They're too small. They're just too small to be in S tier, and I don't think they have A tier. Easy A tier. I think it's A tier or below. There's no way it's S tier. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. It's an S tier mob.
First, their stats. The Scorpion's stats are fairly decent across the board. Nothing completely overtuned, but not really lacking in any—
I mean, it's pretty much lacking in intelligence. What is this intelligence, bro? These are some godforsaken stats. This thing doesn't even have a brain. It doesn't operate. It's just pre-programmed. It doesn't have the ability to think or problem solve. It's just pre-programmed responses at this point. 20 intelligence.
areas other than mobility and intelligence.
You can't even off yourself with that much intelligence. It's crazy.
Their power is obviously quite strong, as the Scorpion sports multiple types of damage-dealing equipment. Their claws act as potent grappling weapons, which can also deal minor crushing and slicing damage. Their Venom Sting is their ace move though, being able to one-shot most players if the move connects. Big if there, but we'll come back to that. Their defenses are quite sturdy.
What is this? Is this a rat or what? Why does it have a nose like this? What?
Though they sport the fairly standard chitin armor found in most arthropod builds, this is all they really need to be able to deflect most attacks from players within their own weight class.
It's a green scorpion? I didn't know there were green scorpions out there, bro. It's crazy. They look like kind of glowing too. Glowing green scorpions out here.
Giving it ample time to counterattack.
They're kind of glowing and green and kind of white. I don't know.
Its piercing stinger. It gets easily crushed by larger foes, however. This armor is also crucial for avoiding passive—
That scorpion got completely bamboozled.
environmental damage from things like sandstorms, which are common in the biomes Scorpion mains favor. Despite the fact that humans have a way to completely negate the Scorpion's camouflage, against most opponents, the Scorpion's stealth is quite effective. In addition to camouflage—
What do you mean stealth? It's literally glowing, boy. It's literally glowing. What kind of stealth is this? This is the least stealthiest animal I've seen so far. This thing is literally broadcasting its location to the entire server.
Against most opponents, the Scorpion's stealth is quite effective. In addition to camouflage, the Scorpion's flat shape allows it to easily wedge itself into more defensible positions. And their digging ability enables them to take cover in a pinch.
That was smooth.
Which is good because stealth is basically their only option against more powerful players. They have very little defense against attacks from larger builds.
Damn, this thing does not care, bro. It does not care it's poisonous. It's just gobbling this stuff down. Look at this. This thing is the scorpion is getting flipping destroyed. It's not even a battle. This is just a complete and utter destruction.
you'd think their potent
It's getting eaten alive, bro. That is brutal as well. Oh my god.
venom would make for an effective deterrent against attacks. But as we'll see, this defense falls apart rather quickly when it's truly tested. Their intelligence being below average is no surprise.
I mean, I don't think the Scorpions are OP anymore. Every single time I've seen Scorpions, they've been getting destroyed, okay? They've been getting completely bamboozled. Scorpions were getting destroyed by a literal frog. Come on, what else? Like, the only thing this Scorpion actually won was against a literal rat. How are these things OP, bro? They're the literal opposite of OP. They're completely useless. Their power stats is completely non-existing, and their intelligence is bottom of the barrel, which is, this thing could barely be called alive at top with such low intelligence. There's no way this thing is A tier. I was completely exaggerating when I said it was A tier. Now I got some more information on it. I'm dropping the tier. It's C tier now. Matter of fact, I think it's F tier. It's a fail. Okay, not F tier. I wouldn't call it F tier, but I would call it D tier. Yeah, maybe even E tier, to be honest. It's D or E tier. You know what? I'm pretty confident it's E tier. E tier. I'm giving it an E for this nonsense. It's been getting bamboozled by literal frogs, bro.
See, this defense falls apart rather quickly when it's truly tested. Their intelligence being below average is no surprise. Intelligence builds weren't viable at all when Scorpions were first added to the game.
Oh, that makes sense.
And while it's by far the most power-crept stat in the game now, back during the Ordovician expansion, intelligence as a strategy was largely ignored, and most players didn't level it beyond the point of granting basic sensory capabilities. So with all that said,
that makes so much more sense now. Oh my god, I was bamboozling these things, but it's still so impressive though. Even though they could barely be called living things with such low intelligence, it's so impressive they managed to survive for so long. It's insane. They even existed before intelligence was the meta. They're crazy. I might have been a little bit too hard on these things before, but now I would say at least they're pretty good. They're pretty decent. Like, at least for surviving for this long. The longevity is absolutely insane. I gotta give them respect for that. They're the real OGs of the entire fucking world. I gotta give them the respect they deserve for that at least. Even though their other stats are completely garbage and their existence is plainly to get destroyed by literal frogs, at least they existed. God damn, bro.
Scorpions are a solid build with a straightforward strategy and a respectable history. However, as alluded to earlier, power creep has massively undercut the viability of Scorpion builds. A good
Yeah. I was thinking they existed when the dinosaurs existed, but they even existed before that. So I don't think the things that existed in the ocean were not that powerful. This is when the earliest life forms started to exist. So I don't think there were that many massive or overpowered creatures with the best meta stats just completely maxed out for the optimal situation. I don't think there were animals like that when life forms actually started to exist. They were just like the most primitive things, at least in my opinion. There's no way they found the meta immediately. It took us billions of years to actually find the meta, which is, you know what? It was me. No, it was intelligence, bro. I'm saying it's me because I'm intelligent. I gotta explain the joke because if you guys don't get it, I'll be sad. I'll stop.
Player will have very little difficulty playing around the Scorpion's strengths and exploiting its major weaknesses. So let's talk about those weaknesses. The straightforward nature of the Scorpion's strategy is great for new players to be able to learn quickly. The Scorpion's core strategy is to grapple an opponent, immobilizing them so that the Scorpion's sting attack can connect without issue.
Nice.
The problem is, if they miss their grapple attempt, things can get dicey pretty quickly. Without claws holding the target in place, the Venom sting attack has a pretty terrible accuracy rating. It's easily dodged, blocked, or avoided.
Damn, bro. That was smooth. Never mind, I was blaming the rat. This rat got skills. The Scorpion can't even take down a rat, bro. The first thing was just a coincidence. It just got a lucky shot in. But when it really comes down to it, it can't even take down a rat. It can't even hit a rat. That was smooth. Look at that. Like, the head movements is crazy. Like, the rat got movements, bro. Head movements, for sure. Might be a boxer. It got potential.
Worse still, this stinger is not a disjointed hitbox. It can be damaged just the same as the rest of the Scorpion's body. In fact, when dealing with a Scorpion, this is the optimal strategy. Scorpion claws are fairly weak compared to other clawed arthropods.
Bro, Timon is destroying this motherfucker, bro. Oh my god. Timon just ate this guy alive. It's crazy. He's not surviving no more. He's done for. Flip that shit. No.
Hermit crabs and lobsters can both deal far more damage via their vice grip attacks. Scorpions rarely deal lethal damage in such a way. So if an opponent attacks and disables their stinger, it's often game over for the Scorpion. Scorpions also have very little counterplay when faced with multiple opponents. with
Okay, that is just food at this point. They're just getting destroyed by everything, bro. Chickens, literal chickens. They're getting destroyed by chickens, frogs, Timon, who else? Like rats at this point. Like anything and everything can take down a scorpion. They definitely eat here. There's no way. There's like, ever since the video started, he's been dogpiling on the scorpions. They're not getting anything. They're not getting nothing. Okay, the only thing they have is their longevity, which is actually flipping insane. God damn, bro. That's the only thing they got, is their history. Otherwise, they're cooked. And they're still surviving, which is somehow impressive. How are they even viable as a species? It's crazy.
no multi-target or AoE attacks, and no means of quick escape, they're quickly overwhelmed from a multi-directional onslaught. Their grab attacks are also not as effective as they need to be at times. Because they mostly rely on the pointed ridges of their claws to maintain grip, armored targets that can resist being punctured by these spines.
That was some weak claws. This thing cannot grapple at all. Like, what was that, bro? It was not putting in the work. Even its claws are not useless. I thought they were some of use, but look at that. These things look like, this is what they look like, literally. I'm not even kidding, bro. Exactly, look at this. Like, put them side by side. I will zoom in. Exactly, this is how they look like. What am I supposed to do with this? Look. Like, if I grab this, like, it's like very hard for me to actually grab this, bro. Like, look at this. It's so unstable. They're useless. We got so much better hands. Look at this. Our hands are so much better, bro. They're useless. Like, they're E tier. Put them in E tier. No, man, never. I can't put them in F tier because, like, I revived for so long. I can't really put them in F tier. Otherwise, I'll feel pretty bad about it. So I'm just gonna put them in E tier because they survived for this long. But at the current meta, like, yeah, you're done for, buddy. You're done. Just put up your jersey. You're done. Like, retire at this point. Just retire. You had a pretty good one, but just retire. You know, you gotta leave it at your peak. Now, you don't need to go through this humiliation of getting destroyed by frogs. If you just retire like 50,000 years ago or something when humans didn't exist, and they would be yapping about how impressive you are. Now, people are making fun of you, calling you dumb as flip. Got the scissor hands, which can't even grab anything, and your accuracy is non-existent. Do you deserve this? If you just hung up your jersey 50,000 years ago, you wouldn't have to deal with this. That's why you gotta retire at your peak. See? Nobody gets it, bro. Nobody flipping gets this shit.
Can often slip right out of their grip with ease. Not that the Scorpion had much hope of landing a sting against a target with high puncture resistance anyway. Now let's talk about matchups.
Every single matchup I've seen so far are bad. Like, you can't even take down a bug. Every time I see it moving, it's moving so clunkily. It's not even moving right. It's just like kind of moving around, like barely conscious. I don't know why I'm bullying these Scorpions too much, bro. I think I'm bullying them too much, but they deserve it.
Which there are many. The Scorpion's worst matchups are going to be builds that spec into puncture-resistant armor.
Bro, what kind of hatred does Timon have towards Scorpions, bro? He just hates them for some reason. I mean, he does eat a lot of bugs, I think. Like, Timon's favorite foods are bugs. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Or venom resistance. Several mammal builds, like the shrew and mongoose, opt for venom resistance solely for the purpose of subverting the Scorpion's defenses, which makes this a borderline unwinnable matchup.
They're just food for these guys then. They don't even have any kind of offensive capabilities for them. That's their only existence for these guys. They can't even hurt them. It's not even a fight. It's just a food source that exists.
The round shape of beetle armor is perfect for deflecting sting attacks and extremely difficult to secure via grappling. Beetles tend to all...
These are hands, like these hands, bro. They don't work. Get these hands instead. They don't work. Get the better hands, bro. These things don't work. I don't know why they're still using it. Update your flipping hardware. The hardware is not up to date. Like, look at this. Who uses this? It was meta like hundreds of millions of years ago, perhaps. Now, this is the flipping meta. They're up to date. You can't beat us.
Also be fairly lacking in their offensive stats, so it is rare to actually be defeated by one. But as a hunting target, they present quite a challenge. Ants obviously must be avoided at all costs, as Scorpions have no outs against a swarming attack.
Ants are really scared me, but like, look at this. This is brutal. They're just dogpiling on this guy, bro. I've seen some movies of like ants when I was a kid, and I'm just traumatized by them. Traumatized, literally. Every time I see ants just dogpiling on any kind of animal, I just get like, oh, come on, bro. Imagine the pain, bro. The pain must be crazy, but I don't think these things can even feel pain. They're just so dumb. Dumb as fuck. I don't think they even have like ways to feel pain.
Birds
I don't know what the fuck am I saying?
Have high accuracy on their pecking attacks and are often quite good at targeting their stingers. Their quick movement presents very little opportunity for counterattack, making this a tough matchup. Certainly not impossible though.
I'm pretty sure he gave them a pretty high tier in the bird tier list I watched. They're moving like the songbirds he showed. I'm pretty sure they're songbird. I might be mistaken though. If anybody's watching this, comment down below if they're actually songbird.
One hit from the stinger is likely enough to KO any bird, and their feathers provide zero puncture resistance. Reptiles are kind of a toss-up, An attack from a lizard or snake is usually powerful enough to deal heavy
This
damage.
does not look like a toss-up at all. This looks like completely one-sided matchup. David versus Goliath. It's not even David. It's not even David versus Goliath, bro. It's literally. It is perhaps.
Through the Scorpion's armor. However, these attacks usually present ample opportunity for a stinging counterattack too. If it connects, it may one-shot the reptile, but not before it has already dealt potentially lethal damage anyway. Scale armor is also somewhat puncture resistant, so this, combined with the sting's low accuracy, means these fights tend to favor the reptile.
That was some crazy movements by the snake. I never seen a snake move like this before, bro. Like every single animal I've seen so far on this video about the scorpions have been moving differently. I swear. First, it was the rat who like got the head movements. Now the snake. It's like everything looks so much better compared to the scorpions. I'm not even kidding. Even a rat looks impressive if it competes with the scorpion. That's what it looks like. I'm pretty sure this is like the lowest tier snake in the last snake tier list video, where they got no poison, no size, nothing. Like literally the worst snakes. They're F tier snakes, and they're still bodying the flipping scorpions.
For good matchups, scorpions are actually quite effective against spiders. They lack strong armor and need to get in close to deliver their own lethal strike,
What was that? What's a
presenting
white
lots
thing,
of
bro?
opportunity for counterattacks. Their webbing is of course a threat, but it's difficult for a spider to web down all three weapons, especially since the claws can slice through silk.
They can?
Scorpions are also...
I mean, they are scissors. The scissors, okay, never mind what I said about the scissors, bro. They have some use. They can cut down silks. I mean, they have some advantages, but come on. These can't be better.
fairly decent at defending themselves from mammals like cats and dogs, as their claws cannot do much damage against the scorpion's armor, but the scorpion can easily counterattack for lethal if the mammal gets too careless. There are a few abilities I think could turn scorpions into a top-tier threat. A more versatile grappling option would be a solid start. Their claws struggle to secure opponents with puncture resistance or round shape, both of which are fairly abundant in the current meta. But there are plenty of other grappling techniques they could spec into instead of pincher claws. The Velvet Worm's glue spray attack could work well to immobilize prey, though this might not be super effective when trying to pin a player to a sandy surface. They could spec into the sort of tether grab attack like the Chameleon uses, though this requires a level of precision and accuracy that I don't think the Scorpion's current perception perks can quite support.
They can't support anything. They can't even support their own existence with their intelligence. It's irrelevant. It's the most... First of all, the Scorpion's way too clumsy for that. Second of all, its intelligence is so low, it could barely be classified as a living animal. Okay, bro, let's stop.
Scorpions could really benefit from catching up to the other arthropods who run the Compound Eyes perk, as this would really help alleviate their accuracy problem.
Oh, yeah.
One strat I think would work really well would be to min-max for the burrowing
Yeah, they definitely need the eyes. Look at these eyes. I don't think they got much
playstyle a bit more deliberately. The Antlion's playstyle of building a trap could be really effective, and the Scorpion is already fairly decent at digging holes. The added protection of staying out of sight would help against some of their worst matchups too.
Nice,
As they are now though, to be honest, I do think Scorpions have been power crept pretty hard, and that their glory days of being a top meta threat are long gone. Their powerful grab...
they were meta like, I don't know why I said 50,000 years ago. I should have said like hundreds of millions years ago. They were meta hundreds of millions of years ago. Right now, they are cooked. Completely cooked. They're getting bodied by literal frogs and snakes and chickens. Like, what is the point of existing anymore? At that point, just quit. You should have left the server 100 million years ago. Now you're still here, just struggling. What is the point? Getting bullied by these YouTubers in a YouTube video. Do you deserve this? you definitely deserve that, bro.
Sting Death combo is still quite powerful, but their strategy is too easily subverted to make a dent in high-level play. I place them firmly in D tier on the tier list. Nonetheless...
D tier? Wait. What's that, right? There's no E tier? Bruh, what the hell, man? There's no E tier, so I wasn't even right.
Nonetheless, Scorpions are a fascinating build that I do hope eventually get buffed. If you'd like to learn more about Scorpions, there's an...
I don't think they should ever get buffed. They should retire like hundreds of millions years ago, but they still exist. Anyways, that was a great video by TierZoo. I would like to give it a like. You guys like my video too, because it makes me feel better. I have 0 likes on some of my videos. That makes me sad.